But first, the game is changing quite a bit this year. Faster games, more stolen bases, and I know we're only 2 weeks in, but there's a guy hitting 500. Some players are playing a different game and actually doing so at historic levels. Let's do a little digging in. Luis Arraez is off to a great start. His slash line is astounding. He's hitting 500 with a 558 on base, slugging almost 700. Those are all big-time numbers, and they'll normalize, obviously, but the batting average is likely to stay fairly high. You might remember, about the only major hitting category not won by Aaron Judge last year was batting average. That was won by Arraez, who hit 316. 316 is a good average in any year, but in an era of historically low batting averages, it might be a little better than you think. Here are the lowest batting averages for a single season in the live ball era of baseball. That's since 1920, when the game was mostly like the one we're still watching. The two lowest are the years we know were big pitcher years, 1968 and 1967, the heyday of Bob Gibson, Tom Seaver, Denny McClain. Third lowest, though. Third lowest last year. Major League Baseball hit 243 last year. Third lowest ever. So the guys that had good batting averages last year, they really did stand out. Arraez, Aaron Judge, Jeff McNeil, Freddie Freeman. Clearly, Judge and Freeman are the better hitters overall, hitting for more power. But in a game still dominated by historically high home run and strikeout rates, anybody hitting over 310 did have a different look to their game. You know, we have it fresh in our minds. You can think that way. Last year, by the way, fewest players hitting 310 since the year of the pitcher, 1968. This was, by the way, one of the early sabermetric points, that a 300 batting average, you know, a good batting average, a 300 batting average in 1968, when the league hit under 240, was very different than 1930, when the entire National League hit 300. Data wasn't ironclad. It needed context, and we think very differently now. But if the league is hitting 240-something and Luis Arraez is hitting 320 with a 320 career batting average, well, that means that 320 is even better than it sounds. Batting average doesn't reflect the entirety of hitting production. We know this, but it's a measure of getting on base, and a way of getting on base that is more productive than walking or getting hit by a pitch. So take a look at this. Batting average plus, which is adjusted to the run-scoring environment of the time period. Luis Arraez, there he is. Luis Arraez with a 130 has the best adjusted batting average in the last 100 years of baseball. That's the live ball era. Now, he's only played 2 full seasons. He hasn't even had his decline phase yet. He's not even close to it. But it's of note, right? He's number 1. That's crazy. The other players on this leaderboard, these are the legends of hitting. Ted Williams, Tony Gwynn, Rod Carew, Wade Boggs, Stan the Man. These are the true artists at the plate. It's quite a group. Not too far away on this leaderboard, by the way, from these all-time greats, Bo Bichette, Jose Altuve, Yordan Alvarez. But to be in this group, especially at the very top, there he is. That's something to be aware of. Now, to add a little more context to this, we should note, players for about 100 years were incentivized to go after batting average. They no longer are. The swing is much more risk-reward. They swing harder. They want bombs. A player that has a batting average style game these days does have a better chance at separating himself from the pack. Let's be aware of that. For example, check out the leaders in 1967, right? We'll go back, and the leaders last year as well. League-wide batting average, about the same, but the averages are much higher in 1967. Hitters hitting for batting average back then. It points out also just how staggering a season Roberto Clemente had in 1967. League batting is 242. Clemente hit 357. By the way, he also hit for power, had a 400 on base. Context is important, right? But Luis Arraez hitting 500, I think that deserves our attention.